what do you think of Chinese students? For example, like what the all the advantages of disadvantages of Chinese students in studies or research, or what are the differences between Chinese students and students from other countries?
But thank you for asking me about Chinese students. Chinese students are incredibly important to King's College London. We have quite a number of Chinese students studying here, many thousands, and they bring great richness to the university. They are very hard-working students, very intelligent, very diligent, and all, I think, will have very successful careers. Many are undergraduates, some are postgraduates. We've recently established almost 100 scholarships with the China Scholarship Council, which will increase the number of PhD students from China coming to King's. I'm really pleased that we have students from all parts of China, and to me, China is one of the most important, maybe even the most important country for us to engage with King's. In my career, I've worked in China a lot. I have chairs at Tsinghua and Beida University, and I'm an honorary citizen of Jiangsu Province. I opened a postgraduate university in Suzhou some years ago, and King's now has a number of really major projects in China. So as well as Chinese students coming to England and to London, I hope to see more and more UK students going to study in China. China is a wonderful country, the people are warm and welcoming, and of course the standard of the great Chinese universities is getting ever stronger. They are wonderful institutions already, and getting more and more so.
And the second question is about, we know that you have worked in Monash before King's.
Yes.
Yes, and compared with the higher education of Australia and American higher education, do you think the advantages of British higher education?
Australian higher education is very much on the British model, so it is almost identical in how it is structured and delivered. The key difference, and there's overlap between the three countries, but the key difference is that in Australia and in the United Kingdom, most undergraduate degrees are professional degrees. So you go into an undergraduate medical degree and you educate a doctor or an economist or whatever. Whereas in the United States, many of the first degree programs are in a liberal arts setting, a more general education, and then you go to graduate school to do your graduate training in your chosen profession. There's a little overlap, but that's basically the model. I think both models have strengths. I've seen both models work well. One of the difficulties with the American model is the education takes a lot longer and is a lot more expensive. And I'm not sure in today's world where people want to get on with their lives, get into starting to get a salary and all of that, whether putting it off for another few years for a dual degree system is always justifiable. So it certainly has its place, but I have a preference for the UK and Australian system.
Here we have a question about QS ranking. Yeah, as we all know, we care a lot about QS ranking when we choosing university. So how do you think about what we could do to improve PCL's QS ranking?
Yes, I think it's improving already. When it went backwards, it wasn't that the performance of the institution went back at all. They altered the metrics for the assessment. And KCL as a university has huge strengths in health and in the social sciences and the arts and humanities. But in recent years, we haven't had so great strengths in engineering and areas we're building up. And QCL changed the rankings to indicate that you need to be even across all of the disciplines. And we have great strengths in some areas that are greater than others. So it was a technical issue. I was delighted with the subject-specific. The Times High is the main ranking, and I was delighted with the subject-specific Times Higher and QS rankings, the most recent ones, because there's so many of our subjects are top 20 or even top 10 in the world. You know, there are quite a number in the QS now. We're in the top 5. Some of the subjects, say philosophy, were now top 10. You know, there are a number of subjects coming forward. But I was even more delighted with the first Times Higher University Impact rankings, which I think will be very important, where we ranked 5th in the world and 2nd in the UK. So I think the international rankings for King's are looking very good at the moment, probably better than they have for many years.
Another focus of most students concerned when they decide to study abroad is whether can they get a working visa after they graduate.
Yeah.
And based on today's Tier 2 visa in UK, what do you think of if a Chinese student want to work in London or in UK? What do you think we should do, and what do you think?
Well, as you know, it is more difficult in the UK than, say, in Australia, where when you do an undergraduate degree, you're guaranteed at least 2 years in the workforce. In the UK, it's very much linked to graduate salary levels, which can be quite demanding. All I can say is there's a huge impetus in UK politics to change that now, with quite a degree of enthusiasm developing in the Parliament to bring forward legislation which will more appropriately mirror that, say, in Australia. Now, I'm pushing very hard for that to happen. How quickly it will happen, I can't say, but I am expecting it to happen, eventually.
And just like you said, there is a Suzhou branch of Monash, and this is the first and only postgraduate school between the foreign country and the Ministry of China Education.
Yes.
Yes. And so I want to know, do you want to open a King's China branch, or what's your expectation of exchange international of King's College and Chinese University?
Well, we've got many collaborations now at multiple levels, so there are dozens and dozens of academic collaborations between King's and Chinese institutions. So I'll just mention a couple of them. We have very strong links with Peking University, Beida, in a number of disciplines, and increasing links with Tsinghua, the two major universities. But very big projects. On Monday, we signed with the Southern University of Science and Technology, SUSTEC, which is now a top 10 university in China, very rapidly improving, to develop a joint medical campus in Shenzhen, near Hong Kong, in the Pearl River Delta area. And we're also launching a research institute, which will be a building, people based there, with Nanjing University in the city of Nanjing. They're both very substantial on-the-ground projects in China. So we're increasing our China presence quite dramatically.
What is your most important, what do you think of the most important traits of King's College London students in your mind?
One, a very good education in their discipline. Two, some broader knowledge about life and what it's all about.
Yes.
Strengthening a good philosophy. And we are devoted not just to professional education, but to getting people to think more broadly, and to be good people, to be moral citizens, committed to the greater good. Because I've always felt that it's very important to have a good career, to look after one's family, but it's also important to contribute to the broader well-being. And I think there's so many opportunities to do that in today's world. I mean, one thing that China is leading on is environmental technology. And you can see why, because when you go to the really big cities like Shanghai or Beijing, the environment is not so healthy, a lot of the time. And China recognizes that and is moving very rapidly to clean it up. But I think the whole area of the future of the planet, a lot of the things that will make a real difference will come from China and Chinese people.
So, what kind of students is your preference?
I want students who are good academically. They have to be capable of, studying and achieving well in academic terms, but also students who are interested in developing themselves more as people, to be full and broad people, people who are concerned for others and not just about themselves.
Mm-hmm. I see.
President Edward, we are very grateful that you can accept our interview today, and we feel honored that we have a chance to interview you on behalf of Chinese students studying abroad. So our last question is that do you have any words to Chinese students, especially for those who graduate this year?
Can I thank you all, for whether they stay in the UK a bit longer or return to China. I think they will all have fantastic careers. The opportunities in China at the moment are, of course, the most of anywhere in the world, because the economy is growing so rapidly, the country is doing so well, it has good leadership, and a level of ambition, almost unequalled in the annals of history. So I have huge belief in China and the future of China and the opportunities that China will bring to its citizens, whether they spend their whole lives working there. I mean, I've worked in a number of countries, whether they work a little bit in this country or the United States or Europe and then work in China. I think they will all enjoy great success. I think the King's degree is well recognised in China. It's very prestigious, and I think it will be helpful to them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.